The wind did not announce itself. It simply arrived, howling across the frozen mountains like a living thing, swallowing sound, light, and hope in one endless white roar. Lieutenant Ava Mitchell knew this kind of silence, the kind that comes just before fear settles into your bones. Her helicopter lay twisted against the slope, half buried in snow. Its once proud blades snapped like brittle bones. Somewhere above her, the sky blended into the ground, and the world had become one relentless blizzard. Ava pressed her gloved hand against her leg, feeling warmth that did not belong in this cold. She did not cry out. She was a pilot officer in the United States Air Force, trained to survive. But training did not stop the cold from creeping deeper, or the truth from forming in her mind. No one was coming, not in time. Beside her, Coda lay unnaturally still. The German Shepherd had been her partner for 3 years, on missions, in training fields, and in the quiet moments after long flights when Ava would sit on the hangar floor and let him rest his head on her knee. Now his breathing was shallow, uneven. Each rise of his chest, the small battle against the freezing air. Blood darkened the snow beneath him, stark and unforgiving. Ava dragged herself closer, ignoring the pain screaming through her body. She wrapped her arms around Coda's thick neck, pressing her forehead to his fur. "Stay with me," she whispered, though she did not know if she was speaking to him or herself. Hours earlier, the mission had been routine, transporting equipment and personnel across a remote training zone in the northern Rockies. Weather had changed fast, faster than forecasts predicted. One moment, clear skies. The next, white chaos. Ava remembered the alarms, the sudden loss of visibility, the sickening lurch as the helicopter fought gravity and lost. She had done everything right. Still, they had gone down. Fate, it seemed, had no respect for skill. The cold gnawed at her relentlessly. Ava knew the signs of hypothermia. She had taught them to others. The numbness, the fog, the dangerous temptation to sleep. She forced herself to stay awake by talking to Coda about nothing and everything. She told him about her first solo flight, how her hands had shaken even as she smiled for her instructor. She told him about her father, a firefighter, who had taught her that courage was not the absence of fear, but the decision to act anyway. Coda's ears twitched faintly. Ava clung to that movement like a lifeline. Miles away, Chief Petty Officer Ryan Cole moved through the storm with deliberate precision. He was a Navy SEAL, part of a cold-weather training exercise that had already pushed his team to the edge. Ryan had spent years learning to read environments most people feared. Jungles, deserts, oceans, and now this frozen wilderness. The blizzard was brutal, visibility near zero, but something felt wrong, in a way he could not explain. Then he saw it. Debris half buried in snow, metal glinting dully beneath the white. A crash site. Protocol demanded caution. The storm was worsening, and survival odds after this long were slim. But Ryan had learned long ago that numbers did not tell the whole story. He signaled his team, then moved ahead alone, scanning the wreckage. That was when he heard it, a sound almost lost to the wind. A voice, faint, human. "Ava," Ryan called, forcing his voice through the gale. "If you can hear me, respond." He followed the sound, heart pounding, not from fear, but urgency. He found her slumped against the wreckage, eyes glassy, but focused, one arm wrapped around a dog. The sight hit him harder than any battlefield moment. She was young, maybe late 20s, uniform torn, face pale beneath frost. The dog, K9, clearly, was badly hurt. "I'm here," Ryan said firmly, kneeling beside her. "You're not alone anymore." Ava blinked, disbelief flickering across her face. I thought you were the storm," she murmured. Or maybe I'd already—" Her voice trailed off. "Not today," Ryan said. He checked her pulse, steady but weak, then turned to the dog. The injury was serious, but not hopeless. "Your partner?" "Coda," Ava whispered. "Please, don't leave him." Ryan met her eyes. In them, he saw not fear, but resolve. The same resolve he had seen in countless service members who refused to give up on those beside them. "We don't leave anyone behind," he said. "Not you, not him." The extraction was a race against time. Ryan radioed his team, coordinated a narrow evacuation window, as the storm threatened to close in completely. He wrapped Ava in thermal blankets, secured Coda against his chest, feeling the dog's faint heartbeat beneath his gloves. Every step through the snow was a battle. The wind pushed back, as if the mountain itself resisted mercy. Ava drifted in and out of consciousness, anchored by Ryan's steady voice and the warmth slowly returning to her fingers. At one point, Ryan slipped, sliding several feet down an icy incline. Pain shot through his shoulder, but he did not stop. He thought of his own reasons for being there, of a brother lost years ago in another unforgiving place, of a promise made silently at a grave that no one else would be abandoned if he could help it. Compassion, he had learned, was not weakness, it was fuel. They reached the extraction point just as visibility dropped to nothing. The sound of rotors cutting through the storm felt unreal, like a miracle made of steel and noise. Ava was loaded first, then Coda, then Ryan himself. As the helicopter lifted, Ava reached out weakly, her fingers brushing Ryan's sleeve. "Thank you," she said, tears freezing on her lashes. "You saved us." Ryan shook his head gently. "You were already fighting to live," he replied. "I just showed up." Recovery was slow. Ava spent weeks in a hospital bed, leg in traction, replaying the crash and the rescue in her mind. Coda underwent surgery and intensive care, his survival uncertain for days that felt like years. Ryan visited once, quietly, uncomfortable with praise. He brought no medals, no stories, only a simple nod and a question. "How's your partner?" When Ava finally walked again, when Coda finally wagged his tail with full strength, something deeper had changed. The blizzard had taken much from her. Certainty, control, innocence, but it had also given her clarity. She understood now that humanity's greatest strength was not technology or training, but the willingness to refuse indifference. One person, choosing to care, could tilt the balance between life and death. Months later, Ava stood before a group of new recruits, Coda at her side, his fur gleaming under the lights. She spoke not about fear, but about connection, about a Navy SEAL who had listened to a faint voice in a storm and decided it mattered. About how kindness, even in the harshest conditions, could become a lifeline. Somewhere far away, Ryan trained another team. The memory of the blizzard etched quietly into his mind. He did not think of himself as a hero. He thought of the choice he made when he could have walked away, and how that choice reaffirmed everything he believed about service. The storm eventually faded, as all storms do. But what remained was stronger than cold or fear, proof that compassion survives even where hope seems buried, and that sometimes the most powerful act is simply refusing to walk away.